thing about a 2-1 buy down would be, for you as the buyer, you're not covering that cost. That is a cost covered by the sellers. So the cost of a 2-1 buy down, you're going to range anywhere from about 10.
It depends on the purchase price, but it's about 2.1% of the purchase price.
Okay.
And Angela here is the one that negotiates that for you.
Yes, I do. And I try to get you as much as we can possible, because not only do they want help with that 2-1 buy down, but we want help with your other closing costs also.
Absolutely.
Less money out of pocket for you is going to be the best deal ever. So a 2-1 buy down, that right there, I'm going to let the money side definitely handle more of the verbiage on that so I don't get it incorrect. But what I see as a realtor and the happiness I see with my clients is it's going to save you money up front right now for the first two years, I believe it is.
Yep.
And then that third year, your interest rate is locked. And I haven't seen that interest rate locked at such a high rate where it doesn't make sense to do it. So Reggie, a little bit of info for all my clients out there that are thinking about a 2-1 buy down. What does it mean for them? What are they looking at for rates? And then of course, we got to let them know about that cool little escrow hold if they do decide to refi, because I think that is super awesome also.
Yeah, absolutely. 2-to-1 buy down is probably my favorite product on the market right now, and it makes sense in a lot of ways as long as you can get the concessions needed to do it. So let's just say that you qualify for a 6.75% rate. What a 2-to-1 buy down is going to do is effectively in your first year, you're going to have a payment assuming that rate's 4.75.
Okay.
In the second year, you're going to have a payment assuming that rate's 5.75. And then on the third year, you're going to have your normal payment for the remainder of the loan. Now, to get not crazy details, but what's happening is your rate is always 6.75%. The seller is putting money into an escrow account to subsidize your payment, so your payment's like a 4.75 and like a 5.75. But here's my favorite part of this is if you decide to refinance, like all of us in the industry, once the Fed starts dropping the federal funds rate, we think rates are going to drop.
Yes.
So any of that money in the escrow account that you don't use, you get credit for to lower your payoff when you refinance. So the reason we love the temporary buy down is if rates drop, you're probably going to refinance the loan, and this allows you to get a lower payment for 2 years, and any money that you don't use, you get back.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and here's the difference between a temporary buy down and a permanent buy down. A permanent buy down is when you're using all those closing costs from the seller to get a permanent lower rate. It's not an issue, but what happens is if rates drop enough where you would still refinance that and you paid a lot of money to get a lower rate, that's kind of a sunken cost once you refinance because you're getting into a new lower rate and you paid a ton of cost to get your last rate. Where a 2-to-1 buy down, you basically get all the credit for everything, and anything you don't use, you get credit for. So it's a great product for customers right now.
Yes, and I know I have a lot of clients out here in Arizona that, they get nervous to do anything when you hear the word like changeable rate, just because, we did have kind of a crazy situation back in the day where people kind of played with rates, but it's not the same product. So this right here, you're just locking in for that first year for a lower rate to make it more affordable. And also that second year, rates, if they do come down as predicted, you could refinance sooner than that 3-year mark. But it's a way just to make it more affordable for you right now to get the best deal on a house. So for buyers right now, I think in the last month, I've gotten almost $70,000 for buyers towards closing costs, which us realtors, it's a little bit of a whoop whoop. But the cool thing about it is, so most of my buyers, I have a lot of buyers that are first-time home buyers, so doing that 2-1 buy down makes it so much more affordable and less scary for you while we wait for those rates to drop, and then you're getting the best deal on a house because let's be real, while rates are up, we do have less buyers, but that doesn't mean it's not a good time to buy. That means it's a great time to buy for you because sellers understand like, hey, we're going to have to help you out. We want you to buy our house. So I think being able to negotiate and get that little bit of rate buy down for you and make it more affordable and get closing costs, I think at the end, it's going to be totally worth it, because if we're waiting 2 to 3 years in Arizona, we're just gaining equity, so in a couple years, that house is going to be worth more money, selling for more money, and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to have a crazy rush of buyers again where you're not going to get any closing costs. So at the end of the day, getting a 2-1 buy down right now, getting the sellers to help out with that, locking it at a reasonable price right now. It's kind of like more of a house security. I would say job security, but we're going to say house security on this one.
Yeah.
That's kind of our thoughts on our side when we're watching and seeing what's going on in the real estate market out here in AZ.
Just to put a 2-to-1 buy down into terms that you may understand, like the average 2-to-1 buy down has a $500 lower payment the first year and $250 lower payment the second year, the regular payment on the third. So it's a huge amount of money that you're actually saving, and you are actually qualifying at the permanent rate.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry like you're getting into this loan that you just can't afford, because they're underwriting you based upon the actual rate that you're going to have after that 2 years. So just an amazing product.
Yeah, so that's where it's not so scary. You can actually afford it. So let's say the mortgage payment is $3,000 a month, right, at that higher rate, and then let's say the 2-1 gets you down to about a $2,500, just giving basic numbers, guys.
Yeah.
You can still afford that $3,000, but why when you have a seller that's willing to pay an extra $500 a month for you?
Yeah.
I think that would be the easiest way for me to understand it. You know, I'm not the math magician. That's what I have the lender for over here, but it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, your first year in, saving $500 a month is about $6,000. So for most people, you keep banking that $6,000. It's a nice little amount of money you have in there for an emergency account for a rainy day, or to start saving money for your next property if you want to buy an investment property.
Yeah.
I think a 2-1 buy down is a great program. And if you just have questions, there's no pressure. It's just questions. You can always call us. We're always here to help, always here to answer questions, run numbers, break stuff down so you understand it as just a regular home buyer. So yes, if a 2-1 buy down sounds like it could be the right plan for you, reach out.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll put together the numbers for you, no pressure, and see if it's the right product for you.
Correct. Have an awesome day.
See ya.